At the ruins of the ancient gods, Qin Xiaoyu regarded Qin Feng with a mix of admiration and intrigue. Despite his lifespan extending 100 times over, he had successfully navigated the treacherous remnants of the ancient civilization. However, she had claimed the artifact known as the Eye of Judgment for herself. Qin Feng confronted Qin Xiaoyu, his expression a mix of confusion and hurt as he struggled to understand her betrayal. Xiaoyu, visibly annoyed, held the Eye of Judgment tightly, her disdain clear. She reminded him that he was just the adopted son of their parents, emphasizing that they weren't blood-related. A shout echoed through the air, calling out to Xiaoyu. She turned with a smile, spotting her brother, Sun Fei. He greeted her with a teasing remark, calling her an old miser, but in his usual way, also acknowledging that she was actually useful for once. Sun Fei turned to Qin Feng, a twisted smile curling on his lips. He spoke with feigned gratitude, acknowledging that it was only because of Qin Feng's efforts that he and Xiaoyu were able to acquire the powerful magical weapon. Sun Fei had gone to great lengths to drain Qin Feng's life, even inserting the Soul Reaper sword into his body to ensure his ultimate demise. Sun Fei considered it a fitting token of gratitude for the man's role in their success. Qin Feng looked at Qin Xiaoyu, his expression filled with disappointment. He had worked tirelessly to raise her, ensuring their parents could support her without worry. After the game arrived, he had taken countless risks, fighting for her sake time and time again. Yet in this moment, realization struck. He had completely misjudged his sister. Qin Xiaoyu's gaze was cold as she spoke without hesitation. After their parents passed away, Qin Feng had done nothing but control her life, disciplining her at every turn. For a time when she and Sun Fei needed shelter, he had been somewhat useful. But now with the artifact in their hands, his worth had completely vanished. There was no need for him anymore. Sun Fei slashed his sword, telling Qin Feng to die in peace, promising to take care of Xiaoyu. Coughing up, Qin Feng glared defiantly. Even in death, he swore he would never let Sun Fei go. Qin Feng took his final breath, his vision fading as darkness swallowed everything. In 2025, the forgotten game of God will arrive. While a person is asleep, they will be forcibly dragged into the world of the game. The only currency in the game is life. Death will cost you part of your life, and killing monster will earn you life. Players can consume their life to extract skills from the game and bring them into reality. For a strong person, it's no longer a dream to crush a tank with their bare hands, slice an airplane with a sword, or even withstand a nuclear bomb with their body. From then on, the world changed drastically and disaster spread. Qin Feng reflected on his journey, surviving alongside his sister, overcoming countless hardships, and barely securing a place among the world's 100 strongest. After countless trials and deadly battles, Qin Feng finally conquered the ruins of the ancient gods. With the Eye of Judgment in his grasp, he had taken the next step. He was finally qualified to reach the top. But who would have thought? In the end, all he received was betrayal from the ones he loved most. A lifetime of effort, only to be used and cast aside. Everything he fought for had only benefited others, leaving him with nothing, but he refused to accept it. If he had another chance, if he could live again, this time he would live for himself. Qin Feng jolted awake in his bed, his mind racing in confusion. Shock filled his eyes as he looked around. Could it be? Was he back in the real world? Was he not dead? Grabbing his phone with trembling hands, he checked the date. His breath caught. 2025. Qin Feng gazed out the window, his mind spinning. Could it be? He thought. Am I reborn? A rush of realization hit him. He had been reborn 9 years ago, on the very day the forgotten game of the gods was unleashed. The door slammed open as Qin Xiaoyu entered, frustration written on her face. She had been calling for Qin Feng, but there was no answer. Her sudden arrival broke the quiet, her concern and irritation clear as she found him at last. Qin Feng couldn't help but think back to the day the forgotten game of gods was released. It was then that he and Qin Xiaoyu had a massive argument, all because of Sun Fei. Xiaoyu, fuming, kicked the trash can in frustration. She yelled, her voice sharp with emotion. She had only gone to support Sun Fei, yet Qin Feng had tried to stop her, unable to understand how crucial it was for her to be there for him in that moment. Before the game arrived, Sun Fei was a famous idol, and Qin Xiaoyu was his devoted fan. Furious at the encroaching fans, she felt pressured and determined to support him. Qin Feng, aware of Sun Fei's deceitful nature, tried to protect her by cutting off her money and blocking her from competing. However, his actions only deepened her frustration, and she blamed him for trapping her. Despite his good intentions, Qin Feng found himself accused of interfering in her life, a bitter irony he never expected. Qin Xiaoyu pointed at Qin Feng, furious, blaming him for her brother's drop from the leaderboards and demanding money. In response, Qin Feng slapped her across the face, causing her to stumble and fall. She lay there, trembling with anger, staring at him in disbelief. Qin Feng, calm yet firm, warned Qin Xiaoyu that he had no time for a fight, but if she kept pushing, he'd make her regret it. He revealed that he had never touched the money their parents left him despite his struggles. Throwing her the card, he declared he would pay her back everything that day. Qin Feng told Qin Xiaoyu that for the sake of their parents, he wouldn't argue with her, but from that moment on, he no longer considered her his sister. With that, he turned and walked back to his room, leaving her crying and sitting in the floor. In his past life, Qin Feng had lost too much while trying to protect Qin Xiaoyu. There were countless hidden places and treasures he had once given up on exploring. Now free of that burden, he wondered how far he could go. He took a sleeping pill, focused on his new path. With the knowledge from his past life, he would surpass everyone. He decided that Qin Xiaoyu would prove her own worth, and Sun Fei would fall by his hands. As Qin Feng entered the game, he felt a wave of nostalgia wash over him. The Grand Hall of Professions selection brought back memories of his first visit, where it had taken him hours to make his choice, his nerves running high. This time, though, he was determined to be faster. In his past life, Qin Feng had chosen the warrior class to protect Qin Xiaoyu. While the warrior class wasn't weak, it hadn't been the best fit for him. Now free from the burden of looking out for her, he realized his solo leveling would be much faster. Qin Feng made up his mind. Mobility would be key. With that thought, he decided. This time, he would choose the assassin class. A notice suddenly appeared. The artifact, Eye of Judgment, has already been bound. Qin Feng was puzzled by the message. Then another notice flashed. Eye of Judgment activated. A third notice followed, detailing its unique attribute. Unique attribute, Might of Judgment. The passive effect read, when you enter the game abandoned by the gods, you will automatically obtain the highest quality profession and talents. Qin Feng's confusion deepened as he processed the unexpected revelations. A smile spread across Qin Feng's face as he processed the situation. The Eye of Judgment had bound itself to him, a reborn soul. He realized that once an artifact recognized its master, it became useless if stolen. It dawned on him that his rebirth might have been tied to this artifact, bringing him a new sense of clarity. Suddenly, shadows entered Qin Feng's body, leaving him puzzled. A notification appeared. Congratulations! You've unlocked a hidden profession. A second message followed. Transferring class. The screen flashed again. Class transfer complete. You have become the Shadow. Qin Feng's eyes widened as he realized the significance of his new class. The Shadow, he thought. It turns out this is the highest level hidden assassin class. Unlike the warrior class of his past life, this one was completely different. The power it granted was immediate, and he felt its strength coursing through him as soon as he obtained the profession. When choosing a profession, there was only a small chance of unlocking its superior hidden version. However, the authority of judgment had the power to turn that slim probability into certainty. Qin Feng couldn't help but wonder what the Eye of Judgment truly was to possess such extraordinary abilities. A notice appeared, revealing the true nature of the Eye of Judgment. The authority of judgment, the most real and ancient primordial authority in the universe. It further stated, authority prevails over rules and order. You don't have divinity and cannot activate the authority for now, but its passive effect is active. Qin Feng's thoughts raced as he processed the information. Primordial authority that nullifies rules and order? The power was far beyond anything he had ever imagined. In his past life, Qin Feng remembered that it wasn't until the 7th year of the game abandoned by the gods, that a powerful figure managed to escape from the earth, abandoned by the gods, and reach the land of order. That was when humanity first learned of the existence of the power of order. However, despite the years that passed, in the end, no one was able to obtain the power of order. Qin Feng marveled at the revelation. He never thought it possible, but he had already obtained the original authority that nullified order and rules from the start. He realized that as long as he could leave the earth abandoned by the gods, reach the land of order, and obtain divinity, he would be able to activate his authority. A new goal had emerged in his life. The profession selection was complete, and a prompt appeared. Please enter your game code. Qin Feng pondered for a moment, wondering what to name himself. Since his profession was born from the shadows, he decided on shadows. A new message appeared. Your code name is Shadow. A series of notices appeared before Qin Feng. This is a ruined land filled with countless monsters wreaking havoc. Be careful. They're ready to tear you apart and steal your life at any moment. Upon leaving the town and slaying monsters, you'll gain tradable life. But if you die in the game, half of your life will be deducted. This includes both tradable and non-transferable life. This area, Shell Town, is a peace zone. There are no monsters within, players cannot attack each other, and the life loss rate is 1x. Qin Feng read through the details, preparing for what lay ahead. In the town, people were confused and disoriented, questioning their surroundings. Some wondered if they were hallucinating, while others recalled ordinary activities before being mysteriously transported. One man felt intense pain, realizing it wasn't a dream, but a harsh reality. They had been dragged into some kind of game. Qin Feng watched the scene unfold, a troubling thought crossing his mind. Have so many people been pulled into the game? Qin Feng, clad in a black hoodie, was deep in thought. He knew that soon, powerful individuals from around the world would emerge to reshape the global order. To stay ahead, he needed to act swiftly. Time was not on his side. Meanwhile, the crowd around him buzzed with curiosity. They noticed his unusual dagger, speculating about his profession. Some wondered if he was an assassin, envious of his cool appearance and the special effects emanating from his weapon, questioning why they didn't possess the same allure. Qin Feng stopped as a group of people landed in front of him, wincing from the fall. They appeared disoriented, clearly in pain, and seemed to be questioning the rules of the game. The crowd murmured among themselves, surprised by the fierceness of the wild monster. Some questioned if a single bite could really drain half their health. Despite being only a level 1 creeper, they struggled to even reduce its health by a third, feeling frustrated and overwhelmed. Lizzie sat on the floor, visibly exhausted and unsure of what to do next, while her team struggled with the strong monsters outside. Shadow observed her, noticing that, as an archer, she wielded a long bow instead of the usual short bow. This hinted at her having a hidden profession. Lizzie, recognizing Shadow's strength, approached him with an offer to team up, explaining how the monsters were too much for a single person. Her team had already been annihilated once, so they knew the dangers well. Shadow, with a quiet chuckle, thought to himself that Lizzie certainly knew what it felt like to be defeated. He simply declined the offer, choosing to handle things on his own. Lizzie's team grew frustrated with Shadow's silence, one member sarcastically questioning if he was trying to act like an expert by not saying anything. Another teammate, laughing at the audacity, reminded him of the dangers and how foolish it was to try to take on the monsters alone. One member tried to defend Shadow, mentioning that with his hidden profession as an assassin, he could likely escape if things got too tough. Lizzie, scanning his character info and seeing the codename Shadow, clearly unimpressed by what she considered his pretentious demeanor. Shadow moved toward the town's gate, his focus unwavering. Lizzie, watching from behind, decided to follow, eager to see what skills he might reveal. With a smirk, she thought about gathering new information on the monsters, curious to see how he would fare in the dangerous territory outside. Shadow stepped through the gate, with Lizzie silently following behind. She wasn't sure how she had ended up there, but her years of online gaming experience kicked in, allowing her to form a party quickly. However, their first encounter outside the beginner village ended in disaster. The monster they faced was far beyond what a level 1 player could hope to defeat. Lizzie's team noticed the differences immediately. Shadow's starting weapon wasn't the same as theirs. While he held a dagger, Shadow wielded a short blade. More than that, his speed surpassed even his, despite his role as an assassin, where agility should have been his greatest strength. Even his outfit stood out, different from the rest of their group. Lizzie found the Shadow player highly unusual. Following him might reveal crucial intel. The Shadow player stopped and glanced over his shoulder. Hidden among the trees, Lizzie and her team tensed. Had he noticed them? The Shadow player cast a spell. Shadow Sneak. In an instant, he vanished without a trace. Lizzie's team was shocked. The Shadow player had vanished into thin air. Clearly a stealth skill, a starting ability that granted invisibility. What kind of overpowered class was this? Still in stealth, the Shadow player watched Lizzie's team from the darkness. Frustrated, they decided to return to town, seeking ways to improve themselves. It was too dangerous outside. Having already died once, their remaining lifespan had been halved. Yet there was still hope. Perhaps hidden rewards like treasure chests awaited, or an NPC with valuable information. A notification appeared. Shadow Sneak. Enter stealth for a duration. Attacking will reveal the user, and the first strike after breaking stealth deals increased damage. Stealth Mastery. Doubles stealth duration and increases stealth level by 1. As the Shadow player moved through the forest, a thought crossed his mind. They can't see me? As expected, the Shadow class was extraordinary. A normal assassin's stealth at this level would be easy to detect, but the Shadow class possessed the unique stealth mastery, making him completely undetectable by both players and monsters in the early game. They didn't realize the truth. The beginner town had nothing that could truly improve their strength. It was merely a shelter. As the Shadow player checked his stats, he noted that his stealth was nearing its end. The duration wasn't too long, but fortunately the cooldown had already started the moment he activated it. Just a few more seconds and he could vanish again. A screen appeared. Codename Shadow. Class Shadow. Level 1. Non-tradable lifespan 75 years. Tradable lifespan 0. Strength 10 plus 3. Constitution 10 plus 3. Agility 10 plus 8. Spirit 10, 5. The Shadow player analyzed his stats carefully. All players start with a base stat of 10, with different classes granting additional bonuses. In his previous life, his warrior class had only received plus 3 to strength and constitution, but now the Shadow class granted boosts to every stat and a massive plus 8 to agility. This class was on a completely different level. He still had 5 points to allocate. Most players would instinctively dump their points into strength or spirit to boost their physical or magic attack power. But that was a critical mistake. A screen appeared as the Shadow player allocated all 5 stat points to agility. Notification: all attribute points allocated to agility. Agility was the key. In the early game, no matter how stats were distributed, monsters would always deal overwhelming damage to players. The only way to defeat them without getting hit was to maximize agility. Speed was the ultimate advantage. A scream echoed through the woods, catching the Shadow player's attention. His eyes locked onto a monster. It was a crawler. So it's still absorbing lifespan. This must be the one that wiped out that 4-player party. Judging by its wounds, they had managed to take a chunk of its HP before falling. But that wasn't the real danger. When monsters killed players, they absorbed their lifespan, and if they gathered enough, they could evolve. The Shadow player moved swiftly toward the crawler's position. Sensing his presence, the monster lunged at him, but he reacted instantly. With a powerful leap, he soared high above the creature and activated his skill. Stealth Break Strike. A notification appeared. You dealt 174 damage. You have slain Crawler, level 1. You gained 10 EXP. The Shadow player hadn't expected a one-shot kill. Attacking a Crawler's nape triggered a critical hit, but the sheer damage was overwhelming. A notification appeared. Backstab. If the attack comes from outside the enemy's vision, damage is doubled. The reason became clear. Backstab had stacked with multiple skills, creating a devastating damage multiplier. The Shadow player recalled his past experience as a warrior. Back then, even a critical hit barely dealt 40 damage, and every battle against a crawler was a struggle, often leaving him on the brink of death. A notification appeared. You gained 3 days of tradable lifespan. You gained 54 years, 155 days of non-tradable lifespan. 5 players had died, each losing at least 20 to 30 years of lifespan. That should have totaled over 100 years. But since the crawler had absorbed it first, only 54 years were recovered. Still, non-tradable lifespan wasn't particularly useful at the moment. A notification appeared. Eye of Judgment's authority activated. Congratulations, you have obtained the talent. Infinite Evolution. The shadow player was momentarily puzzled. Infinite Evolution, primal talent. When killing monsters solo, there is a chance to earn evolution points to upgrade skills. Every 24 hours, gain 5 evolution points automatically. Defeating a boss-class monster solo guarantees evolution points. Current evolution points, 5. As the shadow player checked the screen, a realization struck him. Infinite evolution? The ability to upgrade skills? In his past life, nothing like this had ever existed. No matter what gear or skill books dropped from monsters, their grade was fixed. There was no way to improve them. This was a power beyond the game's rules and restrictions. Determined to test it out, he allocated evolution points to upgrade Shadow Sneak and Backstab. A notification appeared. Skill upgrade successful, 4 evolution points spent. Starting skill, Shadow Sneak, normal, bronze. Stealth duration increased, 12 seconds, 16 seconds. Breaking stealth attack, bonus increased, plusing 60, plus your 90. Cooldown reduced, 28 seconds, 26 seconds. Starting skill, Backstab enhancement, inferior, normal. Passive, attacks from behind now deal 10%, 15% more damage. The shadow player analyzed the upgrades. Shadow Sneak now lasted 16 seconds, and with Stealth Mastery, that duration was doubled to 32 seconds. With such an extended stealth duration, he could now maintain near-permanent invisibility. If his skills had been upgraded earlier, even a full HP crawler could have been taken down in a single strike. The shadow player heard movement in the woods and turned to see a man and a woman observing him. The man seemed unimpressed by his fight, while the woman praised his strength, convinced he could take on multiple opponents. Confident, the man assured her of his protection. The shadow player spotted a massive monster lurking in the trees near the man. Unaware of the danger, the man confidently offered his help, believing the shadow player was struggling. The shadow player muttered, "Nurturer," before vanishing. The man chuckled, assuming his presence had intimidated the lone player. Meanwhile, the girl hesitated, realizing he had disappeared without a trace. The massive monster lunged at the man and woman, their faces twisting in terror as they recoiled in panic. While remaining invisible, the shadow player analyzed the situation. The Nurturer was a beginner boss with around 1,600 horsepower, far beyond what an average rookie could handle. Worse, it commanded a swarm of smaller spiders, making it an even deadlier threat. The shadow player saw an opportunity. This was the perfect chance to test his newly upgraded skills. With swift precision, he launched an attack, activating Stealth Break Strike, followed immediately by Shadow Sneak. A notification appeared. You dealt 338 damage, weak point attack. The shadow player narrowly avoided a counterattack. His high agility had saved him. If that hit had landed, his 130 horsepower wouldn't have been enough to survive. A notification appeared. You took 9 damage. Despite the risk, the last strike had dealt over 300 damage. The sheer power of it was exhilarating. The Nurturer lashed out, attacking the surrounding trees in a frenzy. The shadow player observed its movements. It was enraged. These monsters weren't mindless. They wouldn't just stand there and take hits. The Nurturer attacked wildly, striking everything around it in an attempt to pinpoint the shadow player's location. Meanwhile, its smaller spiders were now on high alert. Rushing in recklessly was no longer an option. But if his guess was right, the shadow player hurled a stone at the Nurturer. A notification appeared. You dealt 299 damage. Weak point attack. As expected, His main damage output came from stealth's ambush strike bonus and class skill enhancements. Even something as simple as throwing a rock still dealt significant damage. All he had to do was wait for Shadow Sneak to come off cooldown. The next throw would once again trigger ambush strike, backstab, and weak point attack bonuses, allowing him to deal massive damage without direct combat. A notification appeared. You dealt 279 damage. Weak point attack. Without hesitation, the Shadow player activated Shadow Sneak again, vanishing into the darkness. He remained hidden, patiently waiting for the cooldown to reset. Then he would strike once more. In Shelltown, a loud buzz echoed as a global notification appeared. Leaderboard update. Player Shadow has slain Nurturer, Bronze, and is the first to reach level 2. Another notification followed. Shelltown level leaderboard is now active. Number 1, Shadow, level 2. The crowd buzzed with shock. Many were still struggling to survive against basic monsters, yet someone had already soloed a boss. Confusion and curiosity spread as players wondered who this skilled individual was. The leaderboard displayed only a single name, Shadow. Lizzie's party recognized Shadow as the lone player who had left town. Confusion and disbelief spread. He had reached level 2 and soloed a bronze boss, while they struggled against basic monsters. It seemed impossible. Some even questioned if it was a system error. The man and woman who had fallen to the boss realized it had been defeated, but its smaller minions remained. They wondered who Shadow was. The woman suspected it might be the stealthy assassin they had seen earlier. A notification appeared for Shadow. You have slain Nurturer, Bronze. You gained 300 EXP. Congratulations. You've reached level 2. You earned 2 evolution points. Shelltown level leaderboard unlocked. You gained 1 reputation point. System-wide announcement issued. As soon as the Nurturer fell, its smaller minions scattered. Shadow realized his mistake. He should have eliminated them first for extra EXP. A notification appeared. You obtained 46 tradable lifespan, skill book, greedy hand, bronze, corrosive dagger, bronze, attack plus 35 agility plus 4, requirement level 1, unlimited evolution points 2. Shadow was puzzled as he examined the newly acquired skill book, greedy hand. A notification appeared. Skill book, greedy hand, bronze, assassin skill book. Effect. After learning, you can use this skill on slain monsters, granting a 20% chance to obtain an additional loot reward. Requirement. Level 1 Shadow hadn't expected a bronze boss to drop such a rare assassin skill. This ability would greatly boost loot acquisition in the late game, giving a 20% chance for extra rewards from powerful bosses. In his past life, a player from the Godslayer Guild had this skill. Despite mediocre combat strength, he became highly sought after, with a personal bodyguard escorting him everywhere. A realization struck Shadow. While Greedy Hand had only a 20% activation rate, his unlimited evolution talent could enhance it. If he kept upgrading the skill, he could potentially endlessly increase both drop rates and loot quantity. Xiaoyu and her friend walked to school together. Her friend couldn't shake the thought of yesterday's events and wondered if Xiaoyu planned to call her brother and apologize. They had skipped the exam to secretly support Song Fei, and her brother was undoubtedly angry about it. But Xiaoyu felt no guilt. In her mind, she had done nothing wrong, so there was no reason to apologize. If anything, it was because of him that they had nearly missed the entrance time. From her perspective, he was the one who owed her an apology. Xiaoyu's friend admired how well her brother treated her, even admitting to feeling a bit envious. Xiaoyu, however, disagreed, finding him overly meddlesome. He wasn't even her real brother, and to her, brother Song Fei was the only one that mattered. Noticing a mark on Xiaoyu's face, her friend asked about it. Xiaoyu simply replied that she had tripped and fallen. As Xiaoyu and her friend walked down the school hallway, they noticed a large crowd gathered around their classroom. Curiosity sparked, and her friend squeezed through the huddle of students. Inside, she spotted Zhang Wei and immediately froze. His body was turning semi-transparent. Confused, she turned to a nearby classmate and asked what was happening. The boy shrugged, explaining that just moments ago, Zhang Wei had mentioned wanting to take a nap. Then, when they looked back, he was like this. The phenomenon was widespread. with reports flooding the internet. Experts suspected that falling asleep caused people to enter a semi-transparent, phantom-like state, but the cause remained unknown. Her friend hurried to call her parents, urging Xiaoyu to contact her brother as well. But Xiaoyu scoffed at the idea. There was no way she would reach out to him first. In her mind, a guy like him was better off gone. Meanwhile, in Forgotten Game of God, a notification appeared before Shadow. Greedy Hand Evolution successful. Greedy Hand, bronze to gold. Assassin class skill. When looting an enemy, the chance of obtaining an extra piece of loot increased from 20% to 70%. You have learned Greedy Hand +2. Skill, Greedy Hand successfully activated. You have gained 2 evolution points. You have obtained 46 days of lifespan tradable. Shadow grinned, pleased with the results. Gaining an extra 2 evolution points was a welcome bonus. To evolve Greedy Hand to +3, 3 points were needed. It was only a matter of time before the skill reached a 100% chance of obtaining extra loot. Shadow knew the world's governments had likely caught on to the situation. With more people flooding into the game, he needed to progress faster. Wasting no time, he equipped whatever he could use. Notification. Equipped Corrosive Dagger, Chiapim Bronze. Attack +35. Agility +4. Requirement. Level 1. Shadow's thoughts raced. It wouldn't be long before people realized that skills and equipment from the game could be extracted into the real world. When that happened, chaos would erupt. Extraction required 2 conditions: reaching level 10 and having enough tradable lifespan. Grinding small monsters was too slow. He needed to hunt stronger bosses. Shadow heard the sounds of battle nearby. As he approached, he spotted a group of players engaged in a fight against a sprint predator. Shadow's eyes gleamed as he recognized the sprint predator. Perfect timing. But then his focus shifted. Among the players, he spotted Wang Meng. So the rumors were true. When Wang Meng first entered Forsaken Game, he had gathered an entire team of hidden class players. All 6 of them possessed unique abilities. Wang Meng activated his skill, Holy Barrier, as a radiant shield enveloped him. Shadow observed carefully. As a Holy Shield warrior, Wang Meng's hidden class granted him twice the base stats of a regular warrior, along with an innate invincibility skill. The mage unleashed a powerful fire magic skill, flames surging toward the enemy. Shadow analyzed the situation. The mage's hidden class, Prophet, dealt double the spell damage of a regular mage and had a built-in prosthetic fireball for instant casting. The archer fired a volley of arrows with incredible speed and precision. Their hidden class, Sharp-Eyed Shooter, granted twice the stats of a normal archer and came with a built-in rapid shot skill for continuous attacks. Meanwhile, the priest held an ancient tome, its pages glowing with divine energy as they chanted a healing spell. As an oracle priest, they possessed twice the healing power of a regular priest and started with a group healing skill, restoring their team's strength. The team continued their relentless assault on the boss. Wang Meng's holy barrier finally shattered, leaving him vulnerable. The archer cursed as their arrows missed their mark. The boss was simply too fast for ranged attacks to land consistently. Despite the struggle, Wang Meng remained resolute, calling out for the healers to keep him alive while urging the rest of the team to keep attacking. Their only option was to wear the boss down little by little. Shadow observed the fight with a smirk. Chipping away at the boss's health? Wang Meng was being far too optimistic. He had overlooked a crucial detail. This was the wilds. The longer the battle dragged on, the greater the risk of attracting other monsters. Shadow noticed another creature approaching, a corruptor. A level 2 regular monster, its body was covered in dark brown sludge, oozing with malice. This one specialized in range attacks. The knight warned the boss and struck the corruptor with his sword, but was shocked. Only 33 damage. Shadow noted another hidden class he hadn't seen before. The corruptor spewed sludge, hitting the party. A member recoiled at the awful stench, realizing too late. Ground bind activated. Their movement speed dropped sharply. The mage shouted for help, panic rising. Suddenly, Shadow vanished. In an instant, all the corruptors fell, lifeless. The party stared in shock. One shot? Someone was helping them. The knight stared in disbelief. Even for a level 1 crawler, it usually took a group effort to bring one down in 10 seconds. But a level 2 corruptor had been instantly eliminated. How was that possible? Another corruptor collapsed, instantly eliminated. The knight, still in shock, asked if anyone saw who did it, but the mage had no idea. Wang Meng refocused the group, hoping their mysterious helper was an ally. With only the sprint predator left, he urged everyone to keep up the attack. Hidden in the trees, Shadow remained in stealth as a notification appeared. You have slain Corruptor, level 2, X2. You have gained 40 XP. You have gained 1 evolution point. You have obtained skill book, Venom Dart, common. You have gained 8 days of lifespan, tradable. Shadow's thoughts raced. Venom Dart, a mid-range poison damage skill, perfect for his build. Without hesitation, he evolved it immediately. A notification appeared. Venom Dart +2, silver. Assassin class skill, O throws a deadly poison dart with a max range of 14 meters. O deals 120 attack damage on hit and inflicts venom status. O cooldown, 5 seconds a requirement. Level 2 O, Venom. Deals 50% continuous damage per second. Lasts for 5 seconds. Cannot be stacked. Wang Meng stood his ground, blocking the sprint predator's relentless attacks. The beast lunged, its claws piercing through his defense and sinking into his body. Blood spilled as he staggered, while the archer and priest reacted in alarm. The priest desperately tried to heal him, but the wounds were too severe. Realizing the danger, Wang Meng urged his team to escape. A dart suddenly struck the sprint predator's head, dealing a massive 845 damage. The party froze in shock. Half of the boss's HP vanished in an instant. The beast growled in agony as the dart's poison effect took hold. Numbers ticking down. 324, 324, 324, until moments later the boss collapsed, lifeless. A notification appeared to Shadow. You dealt over 90% of the damage. The loot belongs to you. You have slain Sprint Predator, Bronze. You have gained 600 XP. Congratulations. You have reached level 3. You have gained 2 evolution points. You have obtained 55 days of lifespan, tradable. Shadow's thoughts raced. He hadn't expected Venom Dart's damage over time to trigger his class's passive ability. With stealth, he could remain invisible and keep throwing darts indefinitely. At this rate, nothing in the early or mid-game could stop him now. Wang Meng stood in disbelief, struggling to comprehend the overwhelming damage inflicted. It seemed almost inhuman. As he looked around, the loot light vanished before his eyes. Coughing, he tried to steady himself, wanting to express gratitude for saving them. But their mysterious savior was nowhere to be seen. Shadow's voice echoed from the darkness, warning them not to trust people so easily in the wilds. The party froze, stunned by the unexpected remark. Wang Meng nodded in understanding, acknowledging the advice. Respecting their savior's space, he assured that they wouldn't interfere while the loot was being checked. Introducing himself, he offered future assistance if needed. One of the party members eagerly attempted to establish contact, hoping to add their mysterious benefactor as a friend. However, Wang Meng quickly dismissed further conversation, urging the group to move on. Still concealed in stealth, Shadow considered Wang Meng's reliability. With the backing of Daxia's government and access to abundant resources, he seemed like a solid connection. A stable sales channel was essential. Shadow could offload his unused loot to him. Shadow activated Greedy Hand, and a notification appeared. You have gained 3 evolution points. You have obtained 55 days of lifespan, tradable. You have acquired Sprint Predator Leather Greaves, Bronze. Equipped Sprint Predator Leather Greaves, Bronze. Assassin Class Gear, +9 physical defense, +5. All elemental resistance, +15%. Cooldown speed requirement, level 2. Shadow smirked, satisfied with the haul. There was still plenty of gear and skill books for other classes. Once his bag was full, he planned to head back to town and trade it all for lifespan. Shadow's eyes gleamed with determination. This time, his growth was 100 times faster than in his last life. Soon he would come for Song Fei. Mang Weng's group was attacking the corruptor when the number of monsters suddenly began to increase. Panic set in as Mang Weng realized the growing threat and urged the others to run. However, some hesitated, frozen in place. Their eyes widened in terror as a massive monster emerged before them, its towering form unlike anything they had seen before. Before they could react, the monster struck, unleashing a flurry of thick vines that engulfed the entire team, wiping them out in an instant. After being wiped out, the entire party respawned in Shelltown. Frustration filled Wang Meng as he cursed the monsters for always appearing in groups and fleeing when their health was low. The others shared his concern, realizing the challenge ahead. They needed to reach level 3 to leave the game, but with enemies like these, the path forward seemed uncertain. The group discussed their next move, realizing that a 3-person team wasn't enough. One member suggested forming a larger party of 6 or even 10, believing greater numbers would increase their chances of survival. However, another quickly dismissed the idea, recalling how a 10-man team had been swarmed and wiped out. Too many people, they warned, would only draw stronger threats. Just moments ago, a 40-man group had triggered a curse master, and in a single devastating attack, over 30 of them had been wiped out. Lizzie feared they'd be trapped if they never reached level 3. Her teammate explained that only their consciousness was inside. If they couldn't escape, their real bodies would starve. Lizzie cursed the game's difficulty, frustrated by their struggles. Her teammate warned that after 3 deaths, their non-tradable lifespan had dropped to less than 10 years. Real or not, Lizzie knew they couldn't afford to die again. Lizzie checked the leaderboard and was shocked to see Shadow's rapid progress. He must have discovered some trick. If they could find him, he might be their best chance to reach level 3 and escape the game. Lizzie ordered her team to spread the word. Shadow had to help them reach level 3. To ensure his cooperation, she promised to pay him 10 million in cash once they returned to reality. Her teammate was stunned by the offer, but Lizzie was certain. There was no way he would ignore that amount. Meanwhile, Shadow attacked the polluter using his skill, darts. A notification appeared. You have killed polluter Leviv 2. You have gained 20 XP. You have gained 1 evolution point. Seeing the message, Shadow smirked. He finally had enough evolution points. Shadow commanded the system to evolve Greedy Hand. A notification appeared. You have spent 5 evolution points, remaining 0, Greedy Hand, Platinum to Emerald. Type, Assassin type skill. Usage, can be used on monster corpses. Effect, O loot. Drop chance, 110% to 160%. Rearjud extra loot. Tier upgrade, 20% chance for the extra loot to be 1 tier higher. Shadow marveled at the skill's effect. A 20% chance to upgrade loot by 1 tier was incredible. If he kept evolving it, could it reach 100% or even 200%? The possibilities were endless. Shadow suddenly noticed something. As he turned, his eyes widened. It was the Curse Master. Tier boss. Observing closely, he realized it was consuming life force to evolve into a silver tier boss. No wonder it had wiped out that 40-man team. While checking his screen, Shadow sighed at his bad luck. His inventory was full. Even if he defeated the Curse Master, he wouldn't be able to collect the loot. Deciding marked the spot on the map. Realizing that the boss evolution would take time, Shadow decided to clear his inventory first. He would return later, ready to claim the rewards. In Shelltown, rumors spread quickly. People whispered about a staggering offer. Someone was willing to pay 10 million to have the leaderboard's top player, Shadow, power level them. With players constantly dying and losing lifespan, the wealthy were already seeking a way out. Others despaired, realizing the harsh truth. Commoners like them were doomed. Shadow entered Shelltown and quickly accessed the market stall. With a few taps on his screen, he listed his items for sale under the shop name, Selling Equipment and Skills. Limited time. Only available for 10 minutes. The crowd stirred in shock as they noticed the newcomer. Whispers spread quickly. He was wearing 2 bronze-tier pieces and had put 2 more up for sale. Speculation ran wild. Had he defeated a bronze-tier boss? Then someone spotted his name. The realization rippled through the onlookers. This was Shadow, the top-ranked player on the leaderboard. Some in the crowd questioned why his face was hidden, while others quickly realized the reason. He had enabled the face concealment function. Since a player's in-game appearance matched their real one, it was clear. Shadow wanted to stay mysterious. A mage approached Shadow, inquiring about the price of the icicle spell. Without hesitation, Shadow replied, 100 days of tradable lifespan. As he observed her, a thought crossed his mind. That woman, she's Grey Rose, currently ranked number 11 in Shelltown. She too had enabled face concealment. The mage recoiled at the price, finding 100 days of tradable lifespan too steep and hoping for a discount. However, Shadow remained firm. The common tier skill, Icicle Spell, was highly valuable for a mage's early grinding speed, and in his eyes, 100 days was already a bargain. The mage hesitated before asking if real-world money could be used instead. Shadow remained firm. If she had cash, she could buy tradable lifespan from someone else first, and then trade with him. If no one offered more, he would hold the skill for her. The mage consulted her team through the team channel. They agreed. Her leadership had gotten them to level 2 quickly, and Icicle Spell would help them reach level 3 faster. With their support, she told them to transfer their tradable lifespan, promising to pay them once they escaped. The mage returned to Shadow and handed over 100 days of tradable lifespan for the trade. Shadow analyzed the situation. A whole team at level 2 meant they had likely killed at least 30 to 40 crawlers. Their total tradable lifespan had to be far more than just 100 days. A notification appeared before Shadow. You have sold Icicle Spell, Skill Book. You have gained 100 days of tradable lifespan. Tradable lifespan, 268 days to 368 days. Lizzie finally found Shadow and approached him with confidence. Shadow was puzzled by her sudden appearance. Without hesitation, Lizzie made her offer. She would give him one chance. If he power-leveled her to level 3, she would pay him 10 million cash once they returned to the real world. The crowd stirred with excitement, realizing the 10 million rumor was true. In an instant, Shadow had the chance to earn a fortune. Shadow recognized her immediately, Zhang Li. In his past life, she had been the leader of a criminal syndicate, eventually wiped out by the government. Reports claimed she used cash to lure people into selling their lifespan, only to kidnap them for forced labor. Those who resisted were killed in reality. Lizzie, unfazed, confidently stated that her father was the chairman of Dajiang Industries, assuring Shadow that she could pay. Shadow's thoughts were clear. Scum. Without hesitation, he rejected the offer. Lizzie, unfazed, tried again. Shadow might be strong in the game, but no one truly understood how it worked yet. If he stuck with her, she promised him a life of luxury, cars, houses, women, whatever he wanted. Shadow dismissed her and turned his focus back to his business, unwilling to entertain her offer. To him, cash was meaningless. Soon, the only universal currency would be tradable lifespan. Lizzie scoffed, frustrated by his rejection. To her, it was a joke. She had given him an opportunity, yet he had turned it down. If this had been the real world, she wouldn't have hesitated to teach him a lesson. Shadow's eyes burned with intensity as he issued a chilling threat. One more word and he would kill her until her lifespan hit 0. Fear gripped Lizzie and her team. Without hesitation, they turned and fled, calling out that they were leaving. A notification appeared. You have sold Gleam Robe, Bronze Tier. You have gained 19 days of tradable lifespan. Tradable lifespan, 527 days, 546 days. The buyer, thrilled with his purchase, felt stronger than ever. Shadow, unfazed, noted that everything was sold. Now it was time to wrap up and face the Curse Master. No one yet realized that tradable lifespan could extract skills into reality. No one foresaw how this forsaken game would soon plunge the real world into chaos. The backgrounds and status people once prided themselves on would soon become meaningless. In the end, only personal strength would matter. Lizzie and her team panted, still shaken. Furious, Lizzie seethed. Shadow had not only refused her offer but had dared to threaten her. Once she returned to reality, she vowed to make sure he was dead. A man approached Lizzie with a casual greeting, catching her off guard. She looked puzzled as he introduced himself as Mao Li Jun, or Old Mao. Claiming to be level 2 with valuable tricks for leveling up, he inquired whether the 10 million offer was still on the table. Lizzie narrowed her eyes, intrigued by the mention of tricks. Old Mao smirked, lowering his voice. He didn't normally share this kind of information, but for Sister Lizzie, he was willing to make an exception, to prove his sincerity. Old Mao revealed his strategy. To level up efficiently, all 5 initial attribute points should be invested in agility. This would make their full sprint speed just fast enough to outrun crawlers. The implication was clear. Speed meant survival. Lizzie was shocked as the realization hit her. So that's how this game works. Frustration surged through her. She had already wasted her 5 initial points on strength. Pushing aside her regret, she acknowledged Old Mao's knowledge and agreed to let him guide her in leveling up. At least she had found someone who knew what they were doing. Lizzie studied Old Mao for a moment before making an offer. He wasn't as strong as Shadow, but 5 million should be enough. If he could get her to level 3, she'd pay him in cash once they returned to reality. Old Mao accepted without hesitation. Shadow might be powerful, but turning down 10 million? That guy must have some serious issues. Shadow arrived stealthily at the Curse Master's location. As he expected, the boss had already evolved to Silver Tier. A dense gray mist surrounded it, indicating that its evolution was still ongoing. The evolution from silver to gold would take at least 7 to 8 hours, too long for Shadow's patience. Without hesitation, he activated Venom Dart, dealing 659 damage to the Curse Master. Seizing the opportunity, he followed up with Stealth Break Strike. The boss let out a piercing screech as it suffered continuous 219 damage per second. Before it could retaliate, Shadow vanished into the darkness with Shadow Sneak. Shadow analyzed the Silver Tier boss. Its health pool was 2 to 3 times that of a Bronze Tier boss. The Curse Master, clutching a magic ball, let out a screech before launching a random attack. Shadow remained unfazed. That attack was only as strong as 2 or 3 Venom Darts. However, he noted the boss's mage-type nature. Its skills were mostly area attacks with high damage output. After landing another Venom Dart, he immediately retreated, narrowly escaping its attack range. One direct hit, and with his current health and defense, he'd be as good as dead. The Curse Master began casting another area damage skill, its magic surging ominously. Hidden in stealth, Shadow remained patient. He knew he had to wait for his stealth cooldown to reset before launching his next attack. The plan was clear: strike during a lull in the boss's assault, then immediately re-enter stealth to escape its attack range before it could retaliate. As the Curse Master finished its attack, Shadow seized the moment. Now is the time! He unleashed Stealth Break Strike, landing a devastating 659 damage while exploiting the boss's vulnerability. The Curse Master shrieked, its body writhing as it suffered an additional 219 continuous damage per second. Shadow remained hidden, watching as the Curse Master, its health nearly gone, attempted to flee. Good. A desperate struggle would have been annoying. With the advantage of stealth, he struck the final blow, eliminating the boss before it could react. A notification appeared. You have slain Curse Master, Silver. You gained 1,800 XP. Congratulations. You've reached level 5. Congratulations. You earned 4 evolution points. You obtained 124 days of tradable lifespan. Shadow chuckled to himself. Leveling up twice and earning 4 evolution points, far better than he had expected. Shadow activated Greedy Hand and a notification appeared. Skill Greedy Hand used successfully. You gained 4 evolution points. You gained another 4 evolution points. You obtained 124 days of tradable lifespan. You obtained another 124 days of tradable lifespan. Shadow realized he had received the bonus reward twice. The defeat of the Silver Tier boss had granted him an impressive total of 12 evolution points and 372 days of tradable lifespan. A notification appeared indicating that Greedy Hand's extra effect had been triggered, upgrading one of Shadow's loot items from Silver Tier to Gold Tier. Among the 7 or 8 dropped items, his limited backpack space quickly became an issue. Only 10 slots remained. Running back after every boss kill felt like a waste of time. He hoped the cursed master would drop a storage ring, allowing him to carry more loot efficiently. Shadow stared at the gold-tier loot, his eyes narrowing as he muttered to himself, "This is—" The mage sighed in relief upon making it back alive. Wang Meng's group celebrated their safe return to town after reaching level 3. They praised Wang Meng's strength, crediting their success to his leadership. In response, Wang Meng humbly acknowledged their efforts, emphasizing that their achievement was the result of teamwork. The mage lamented missing the chance to add the powerful player as a friend, blaming it on their disheveled, mud-covered appearance. They whimpered, convinced the big shot had looked down on them for it. Another teammate chuckled, suggesting that if they had been wearing their newly acquired gear at the time, the outcome might have been different. A sudden notification flashed across everyone's screens. Leaderboard update, rank 1, code name, shadow class, assassin level. 5 gasps erupted from the crowd. Someone shouted in disbelief. Shadow had already reached level 5. Murmurs spread like wildfire. Had he taken down some insanely powerful boss? Just 10 minutes ago, he had been selling equipment in town. How had he managed to gain 2 whole levels so quickly? One of Wang Meng's members cursed in frustration, feeling disheartened that they had just reached level 3, while someone else had already climbed to level 5. Wang Meng coughed and urged the group not to dwell on it, instead focusing on more pressing matters. He reminded them that the real world would soon descend into chaos due to this god-forsaken game, and that they needed to warn their family and friends to prepare. With that, he signaled for everyone to log off. As Wang Meng woke up, upon returning to reality, the people around him stirred with excitement. Someone quickly called out, urging others to inform the team leader that he was awake. Concerned voices filled the room as they rushed to his side, asking if he was all right. They expressed their worry, telling him how terrifying he had looked just moments ago. His body had turned semi-transparent. One person, clearly shaken, scolded him for not resting as advised, mentioning that they had even kept watch over a suspect in his place the previous day. Wang Meng, now fully awake, wasted no time. His expression turned serious as he ordered those around him to gather everyone immediately. Something major was happening, and they needed to be prepared.